This is Rob Crawford, and with Ixia Federal, I'm going to do a video here using Breaking Point to connect to, say, a website and then have the website server return a token back to the breaking point, and then the breaking point use that token, store it up, turn around and send it back to the website. That's a typical kind of interaction that happens, and so we're going to do that completely on the laptop by simulating the server that's got the token and sends it. So let's start, and let's back up, and we'll start with superflows. If you do a search on cookie, and that's what this token is, it's like a cookie. There's actually a client sim superflow with cookie retrieval. So the way we're going to do this is we're actually going to create a superflow for the client and a second superflow that's going to simulate the server. And we'll start off by using this built-in superflow. You've got to, almost certainly you'll have to make changes to it to get it working with whatever system is under test. But so we're going to take this superflow, this built-in superflow, and we'll change the name. So I'm going to call this raw video and client. Now I've got a get command here. So this is going to take off all kind of looks good, and then we have conditional request. So when I do a get command to the server is going to come back with the 200 OK. And the 200 OK is going to have a cookie in it. So this is already set up within that template that we just copied, the superflow. Last visit equals, and this is a regular expression to look for the information. So basically, when this is actually running, it's going to sit there and wait until it sees this. And I'm going to change this to wait. I'm not sure that you have to, but I want to wait until I see the 200 OK, and then turn around and look for this within that 200 OK. And if I find last visit, then I'm going to store this text in a variable, and that variable, I'll show you, is called BPS var, and that's also already set up here. So cookie value, BPS var 0, there's 10 of these variables, BPS var 0 through 9, and so the cookie value, the cookie name is last visit, and that's actually the name. This BPS var is the first variable. It just gets stored there automatically when it gets detected by this set cookie. Set cookie, it needs capital S and capital C. And this is actually the same name that we're going to put into the server side of this superflow. So I've got, what have I got here? A get command, waits for 200 OK, and then sends a second get. The second get will have the server, will have the cookie in it, the server's cookie. So we'll store the cookie, and then we send it back to the server. And that's pretty much what we have. So this is all kind of set up. And I want to, well, I've already saved it. I'll save it again. And now we need to simulate the server. And so I'm going to go and open up, oh, we'll go back this way. And we're just going to have to create a new superflow. So there you are. We'll call this raw video and then server. Hit OK. And now we have a blank slate to work with. Next step is to create our server. So I'll name it raw video server. We'll go in here. Oh, really? And I'll call it cookie server. And we're going to build this up from scratch. So I'm going to add a flow, which will be HTTP. We'll run down here. There it is. Basically just use that as is. It's added it. You can see it get added up here. I'm going to hit close and then come down here and do add action. And for the server, I'm just going to go straight to conditional request and add this. And or maybe the server version. Note that conditional request on the client side, conditional request on the server side. And these are all add actions. Let's hit add, close. And so put server here. And so it knows the difference between I'm going to do things as a server. Now I'm going to do things as a client. And you can see this built in. I'm going to change this. And I'm going to drop down and match. And the way you do this is you just say get. So if you're doing a put command back on the client side, you would say put here. But what I'm telling it to do is to start running and then wait for a get command to come. And then when that get command comes, well, let's hit return. Whatever command I want, I'm going to tell it to match. And then I'm going to hit the add action, but I'll do it here. If you do add action here, you're going to add it out here sort of at the same level as this conditional request. And you could set it up that way, but I want to do it inside here. And the action is going to be a response. The get command comes in, the server is going to issue a response, and that's going to be in the form of a 200 OK message. So we'll get down here somewhere. There we are. Server, response 200 OK, hit add, and now I'm set. So what's happened? We're sitting here, we're the server, we got a get command. That's the initial get command that comes in. And so in response to that, we're going to do a 200 OK, and we're going to send to the server the cookie name and value. And so we'll click on these guys. We're going to use, for a cookie, we'll use 1, 2, 3, 4. On a real server, the cookie is probably a very large random number that gets generated. And then here, we type in last visit. This is the name that was used in the default cookie retrieval superflow that we used as the template for our client-side superflow. So we're going to use the same name here. Now, in the real server may not be using last visit as the name of its cookie. And so what we're going to do after we've done this basic setup, we're going to go back and change it, use a different detection for the cookie back on the client side so that we can have a server using any name at all. And of course, any number. We're not matching on 1, 2, 3, 4. This we could set anything here, and that set cookie command that we had on the client side would detect the number. But it's definitely, the way it's set up right now, it's looking for something called last visit. So that's all I need to do here. I'm going to drop down a little further, and this is the first get command. Well, our response, when we get the cookie, we're going to send a second get command. So there you go. So we're back up here under conditional request. We had these matches, match, get, match, get. Underneath this is the response, and I'm going to go ahead and put a response after this one. And you do that again by doing this. And hopefully this is not where I want it. Let's try that again. I'm not sure. There's my get, click. All right, let's come down here. Maybe this is putting it in the right place. I'll hit response, 200 OK, add, close. And so the second match, second get, and here's the response. All right. Now I'm going to make the same change here. Just going to send it the same cookie. I'm going to send it last visit, spelled exactly the way it is on the client that's looking for it. And that is, so now we've got two matches. We're expecting to get messages, so we've set up a server to respond to both get messages. These could be other messages, and the pretty much that's all we have to do on this side. So what happens then? Let me get this window out of the way. These matches, if I drop down and start doing this match, well, it expects it needs a string to come in, like a new message. But what I'm thinking about doing, let's just add one more thing at the end of this. After we do the get, after we receive the get, we do the response. We can add something like this. You could add more matches. You're not restricted to just 3. But what I'm looking for is server, close, add. All right, so what I'm doing here is fin or reset is a choice. I'm leaving it at the default. I've actually closed this and ended this. So when I send this response, then I'm going to send we're finished. And that's a good way to end this particular superflow. And then we'll move on to the next half of this video where we talk about we're going to run this, we're going to look at it in PCAP file and see the cookies being sent and then being returned from client back to the server. And then we'll go and look at the case where you don't know what the name of the cookie is going to be, and a different way to detect the cookie and store it in BPS var. And so that's the next video.